Hey, folks. Welcome to what I think is the 73rd episode of Quarkus Insights. So Clement and I today, we're going to talk about Java 17 and how it relates to Quarkus. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this episode. And so today we are going to talk about Java 17 that was released in October, I guess. So it's a new LTS from Java, so it's an important milestone. It has plenty of features and a lot of features that can be used in Quarkus, as we are going to illustrate today. We are not going to cover all the new features from Java 17, and actually, it's mostly all the features that has been introduced between Java 11 and Java 17,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's more than just what landed in 17. So obviously, we are going to talk about records, but also multi-lines. Things also I like that I would like to see more used, like the var keywords, which is actually in 11, but there is a few things like that people don't use that I believe make the Java language more modern, more repetitive, and pretty cool. So let's get
Yeah, let's
started.
get started. But before we do that, let's go through the news for the week. So we have Quarkus 251 final was released. What was it, a few days ago? So everybody's encouraged to upgrade to that version. Also, the plan is that this week we will release 260 CR1. So, folks who are eager to test with the latest Quarkus version are suggested to upgrade to that once it comes out later this week. And also, if you haven't checked it out, we have a new website, right? We've let's say, redesigned the website. Looks a lot better now. So go ahead and check that out. And of course, if you find any issues or anything, please let us know.
It has a new getting started guides.
Mm.
Check it out. It's much better than the one we had before.
Awesome. So come on, how are you gonna kick this one off?
Well, I need to go in my IDE. I think there is nothing else. We are going to talk about Java 17, so the best is to demonstrate a few features.
Excellent. Excellent.
So do you see my IDE?
Yes, I brought it up.
So the first thing, which is not a Java 17 things, but it's something that I would love to see more users use it, because I think it's a great feature. And I'm actually going to talk about two features in this example. We with Georgios received a lot of reproducers, and actually it's very interesting to see how these reproducers are developed and coded, because that give you a little bit an idea about how people are using your framework, but also how they are developing with Java. So the first one I want to show is, well, var. So again, it's in Java 11, but it's something that is always good to remind that you can use it. And typically, if I say Georgios, I can do something like that, and that's it. It automatically knows that this is of type var example.person, and if I do a system out of it, you will see that it's the right one, and everything is going to work. Yeah, so you see it, and that's this toString you have here. So nothing very new. This is 11, and another feature that really cool that I really like is var people. It's to do a list of, and I can set I can already add Georgios, but I can just do something like that, or Max, but Max is not there. And now if I do this, I will have all three. So the list of that also exists with set of too.
Yeah, map of this is
So
awesome. It's one of my favorite features.
it's very cool. It's we receive lots of reproducers that are using Guava just because I want immutable list or immutable set. you don't need that anymore. You just use these two very cool method, and that's it. And you can combine that with the var. So here you don't have to say that it's a set of var example dot person. So, and if I run that, it will just work out of the box, and boom, I got my three things. So, but this is a little bit old. It's Java 11. It's just not used as much as I would like. But yeah, the second example, well, I would say the canonical example of Java 17. It's records. So what's a record? Well, for people having done a bit of C++ or even C, it's equivalent of a struct. So you do record and let's say person, and here you pass your parameters. So first name, last name. Okay, and that's it. You don't have to have fields or constructors and so on. Basically, this does all. So if I come back here and I do Georgios equals new person.
Hard to spell Greek names.
Yeah, so actually I have a because I'm completely cheating on this one. Adrianakis. Yeah.
Almost correct. Almost correct. There's two NAs. All right.
Yay. So anyway, let's check that. And if I do this, you will see that it also comes with a nice toString, which is very, very useful. So you don't have to add the toString yourself. It's just there, and it just have all the fields you have. And so it's container constructor. You can access the value directly. So either using equivalent to getters or just the fields. They are immutable, so you can't change them. That's part of the record. They are immutable. So it's quite nice, but you can also extend it with some method too, like capitalized. And I'm just going to copy this because that's not very interesting. So var first name. Okay, up first name and last name. I just copy this and this. And now if I go back here and I'd say dot capitalize, I should get it properly capitalized. So it's quite nice. It's actually one of the features that was really that a lot of people want to use already. It reduces the boilerplate you need to write when you do DTO or things that arrive from a JSON from an HTTP request or things like that. So it's really nice to have these records. They're really like a little bit of immutable structs. It's the fact that there is toString. It sounds like nothing, but actually, when debugging, especially in Quarkus, where we have a lot of people doing that debugging with system out because we have the dev mode, so it's very, very nice. But yeah, here it gets properly written. So yeah, it's quite nice. I have to say that it's something that people are going to use very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely. There are like no downsides to this, right? It's just it's great.
Yeah, it's really great. It can be seen a little bit like properties, but immutable. So it makes Java a lot more modern. The next example I want to talk is multi-line. So it's probably one of my favorite features, and I will explain you why. So this is a parrot lorem ipsum. And you see that I use 3 quotes here, 3 quotes here, and if I just do system out, it will just write it. So no more /n, no more string concatenations. No, just works. That's very, very nice. And you say, yeah, but why? Well, maybe the usage is not to print lorem ipsum. Maybe it can be something like this. And you will all say, oh, yeah, first name. And let's go to the line because we can. Last name.
We already have people saying that multi-line is their favorite feature.
Oh, I knew it. So thank you guys to confirm what I believe. It's a game changer because you can write JSON or whatever like that, and then you can do something like JSON.formatted with Georgios. At the end of this episode, I will be able to write your name.
Free Greek lessons.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Right, yeah.
And if you do this, then you will get your JSON out of the box like this. So imagine I have seen reproducer using Mustache or another template, and it's not to render templates, web
to
templates,
render strings,
to just because they wanted, such kind of things. So you don't need that; it's just built in. And yes, it's I found that really, really cool. So you can indent it correctly and manage your indentation with as you want. We can actually discuss if this needs to be indented with spaces or tabs, but well, whatever. It just works. Using that with string.format is really, really nice. Also, an IntelliJ proposed that to me. You can also do this. So don't forget that. You can use printf directly, and this is going to format it for you. But most of the time you don't use system out. You do that properly. But yeah. So for me, it's even more useful than records because I used a lot of such kind of big strings, especially when you are writing protocols level things or low level HTTP applications. This is exactly what you do, and this is going to help me a lot and making my code more readable.
SQL queries.
SQL queries. Yeah, exactly. That's a great example where multi-lines is just great. So the next feature I want to talk about, it's something that is going to save to Georgios and I probably a few hours per week. Having finally a null pointer exception that makes sense and not telling, sorry, it's null, but you don't know something on this line is null, but I'm not going to tell you what. So, and every time what we did is just either using a breakpoint or doing a set of system out just before that, showing everything that could be null to do that. So,
I also used another strategy. I would break up everything into different lines and then rerun it to see which line which is a joke.
So if I wrote this, okay, so we are almost, if I do that, so we should get it fine. So, okay, that works. But no, the fun thing is that if I do this, normally it will just say, it's an NPE because substring doesn't exist. But look at what it says. It says it cannot invoke string.substring int, so this one, because name this is null. So it will really tell you which method, so this cannot be called because this value here is null. So you really have a good insight about what went wrong and how to fix it. So again, I can change here and say, at least I can write that name, and that will work. So it's really nice because that's probably nothing nothing for most of you. Say not the most useful features, but believe me, that is going to save a lot of hours of debugging and
absolutely.
rewriting code and things like that to try to understand why it's null and what is null.
Yeah, this contextual error is just excellent. Right.
So, and the fact that it's able to really tell you what is null, so the name of the variable or the name of the parameters that is null, is really
great.
nice.
Yeah.
So the next one is a pattern matching. So it's actually a little bit well, I like this feature. I discovered pattern matching a few years back, a long time ago.
Well, as a PhD, you obviously know about pattern matching.
But actually really starting using it when I was doing some Scala, when I was doing some play framework things. So, and I really like that pattern. I say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you write frameworks where you get some objects and you need to do something depending on the type of that object. So is that a string? Is that a person? Is that something? So yeah, it's kind of pretty cool to have this ability to do that in Java. So the example I have here is that I have 2 records, because that works with records. Records are just, kind of classes. So I have a record for hero and a record for villain. And what I'm going to do here is to do a return switch, and look how it works. So I want to return a message which will depend on my record. Okay, but normally I can't write that. But here you can do something like that. Hero H and yay. Okay, and boo. Something like that. And I can also add a default case. Boom. And if I run this, it doesn't work because
no name on your record. You're calling it record. Is that the actual type?
Yeah, but I can call it object. That should not be problem actually. Oops.
Wait, no, wait. Sorry. Does hero have the name thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's a parameter here.
Right.
Oh. Is that this? I'm still a little bit confused by the syntax they picked. Not a statement. Yeah. So that was the right one. I don't know. I got it working this morning. So what? There's only default cases. That's weird. So this is a record, yes. I don't have to do that, right? That would be stupid to have to cast it. No. So, so I have no idea. So let's just try to see if I just do this to see if that works.
Wait, sorry. You're using R instead of H.
Oh. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so now it works. Thank you. So, as you can see, my IntelliJ, which is quite recent, but it comes from July. So it was before the JDK 17. So not everything is correctly supported, but it's getting better. And Georgios was just telling me that there is a new version, which I believe will get that right. So basically what you do here is really pattern matching. You return something that depends on what you put here. And if it's a hero, then you return yay. No. Yay. And the name. And if it's a villain, boo, and the name. So that's pretty cool. The fact that you can already have record, return, and switch. So here it's pretty simple because you can do that with a ternary if then else. With the ternary operators. But imagine you have 4, 5, 6 cases. You can't use ternary anymore. Here you can. You can have the switch returning the right thing.
Yeah, the fact that the switch is an expression instead of a statement is awesome.
Yeah. So it's really makes that code a lot simpler and a lot better to understand. And again, when you are building a framework, when you get some generic things and you need to do something based on the types, then you can do that. And I found that very, very powerful. Even if I want to use it, but I didn't started using it. As you can see, I'm not very fluent with that syntax yet, but it's really something I'm looking forward to use. All right, so there is a lot more features in Java 17. There is an updated preview of the vectors, seal classes, and a couple of other things. But the features I wanted to highlight there are really the features that I believe will make a lot of sense inside your Quarkus applications. And what we are going to show you today is an application that is named Hit Tonic that you can find at this GitHub repository here. So github.com/Joand and Quarkus Java 17 demos. And when we started discussing this with Georgios, we say, okay, we need some context. We need to understand what are the type of applications our users are doing these days. And looking at, again, the reproducers and things like that, we realize that most of the applications are actually something that we call a remote service, something that we call something else. And that is actually very, very interesting because that means that modern applications are not really standalone. They are not just pure an HTTP API doing everything inside. It's something that has some ongoing traffic. And we wanted to see how things are working there. And you all know we are in COVID times. Some are still in lockdown. So Hit Tonic is really the application you will need to stay in shape because I got some weight lately, let's say. Anyway, so how it's going to work? We will have a remote recipe service, which is an existing service that will get you recipes. So you will pick chicken or whatever, and that will give you recipes. And if this recipe is not really healthy, it's going to call the exercise service that will get you some exercise. So meaning that if you eat that, you will need to do some exercise too. Both are aggregated inside the wellness service. And when you do your order, it goes to a Kafka topic, and the email service are reading this Kafka topic and send you an email. All right, so Georgios, I think you have some code to show us.
Yeah, first of all, before we do that, we have one question here.
Yeah.
Will Quarkus 3.0 use Java 17 as a baseline?
That's a good question. We have no idea when will be a Quarkus 3.0, so it might be 18. At the moment, we support 17, so everything, and we are going to show that. So everything I just said are supported. It will really depend when Quarkus 3.0 will be released, and yes, that might be possible. But I can't say, and maybe it's not going to be 17, but 18 or 19,
whatever.
Whatever.
21, whatever the other LTS will be. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Java's moving so fast these days, so it's really hard to make a prediction now because you have things that are changing, like that will affect whether or not we move major versions. So you have like Jakarta, you have Netty 5 on the horizon.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll have to see how all these things play out.
And there is things that are, a lot of people are waiting, like Loom, but when Loom, we don't know really when it will land. So We will have to decide, and so right now we don't plan to do a Quarkus 3.0, at least not in the very near future. But things can change. Again, as Georgios said, native 5 will be a kind of a change for Quarkus core. So we will see, and native 5 is planned for end of 2022. So the time we integrate it, maybe. But again, I don't know, and we will see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll be here to talk about it when it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's get to what Clement described earlier, right? So, well, we have the wellness service, which is the service, let's say, that the users will interact with, and that has to call an external service to get recipes. That we are going to use something that's already on the internet that Clement already set up for us. Then we're going to develop the exercise service. So this service will just give you like a couple exercises to do. And we'll also, I'm not going to develop the mail service because that's like super simple. There's not much going on there. We're going to focus on the exercise service and the wellness service for now. And we'll also throw in some Java 17 features there. So this is going to be really simple, right? Really simple application. Exercise service, all it does is it'll be a JAX-RS application with REST Easy Reactive, and it will use Hibernate RM Panache, so blocking database access. Obviously, we could have made this reactive, but it's super simple change. It won't add much if we did it. So what do we have here? Basically, we're just going to say that we have a bunch of exercises, that there are two types of exercises. There are cardio exercises and there are weight exercises, right? So we're going to develop an endpoint that basically is going to return two exercises, one cardio, one weights, right? So that's where we're going to start. So let's start by adding a entity. So we're going to call this exercise. We're going to say it's an entity, and since we're using Panache, we're going to extend Panache entity. This only has two fields, the name, public string type. So as you saw here in this import statement, where we imported the basic, the rows of this table, it has a name and a type, and that's why we mapped it here to name type field. Now, I'm only going to use records to actually return this exercise to the caller of the HTTP endpoint. So I'm going to use an exercise DTO, right? So let's go and do an exercise DTO, but this DTO is a perfect candidate for a record, right? Because all it will have is a name and a type. So I'm going to say string name, and I'm going to say string type. But then I think, okay, let's just make this slightly more complicated. Oh, sorry. Let's make this a little more complicated and add in enum here. And I'll say exercise type enum. And I'll say weights and cardio. So I have two different types. And I'll change this, the DTO field, to a type. Now, this is super simple. Obviously, all we need to do now is throw in the exercise resource, the HTTP endpoint that we want to make available. It'll be under exercise. And I'll say it will return public exercise DTO. And this will be a random workout, right? So like I said, what it will do is that when the caller calls this method, it will return two exercises, one cardio exercise and one weights exercise. So let's make this path appropriate, workout random. All right, so now we're using Panache. So it's super easy to obtain the record from the database. We'll say all weights is exercise list type, and we'll say weights name. And all cardio is type cardio. So we have a list of weights and cardio. Now what we want to do is we want to return random values from these two lists. So Java has always had a way to get random values. I think it's like even the first version of Java had the random class. Then I think Java 7 added the thread local random or something like that. But now, I don't remember exactly which version between 11 and 17 added this, but Java added a whole bunch of factories in order to create randoms with like very, very specific type randoms, or get like the pre-made default very, very easily. So we're going to use that, and we're going to call it, we're going to use the random generator that Java had. Let's see which version added this. 17. So Java 17 added this random generator. Excellent. And there's also the random generator factory if you want to configure it even more. We don't have to do that now since it's just a simple demo. And I'm going to go random generator get default, right? So this is how easy it is to generate a random number. Even makes it even easier in Java 17.
Yeah, and one thing which is very important, and I forgot to mention it, is that this new random generator things is going to be a big difference for everything doing security or things like that. It's much more random than before. Well,
Absolutely.
actually, you can control a lot more things.
Yes, exactly. So all I just got the default, but if I were to use a factory here, I could do a whole bunch of things here. I could actually get the class, the type name here. And anyway, there's a whole bunch of things you can control. Like Clement said, I urge anyone who actually uses randoms in their production code to check this stuff out. Super useful. Okay, so random generator. What am I going to do here? I'm going to say private optional exercise, random exercise, list all. And I'm going to say if all is empty, return optional empty, else return optional of. Okay, so we have all, and we want to get a random index, so we're going to do the random generator next int bound by the all size. Excellent. So that can give me a random exercise. I'll use var here and say weight is random exercise of all weights, and cardio all cardio. Okay, and I'll just make sure that both are present. If they're not, I'll just throw this JAX-RS exception. Could not create random workout. Okay, so and then we're going to use these awesome list of methods, because this stuff is just so, it makes it so easy to create collections with standard number of immutable collections with a standard number of elements in them. But of course, I need to transform the exercise into the DTO. So let's do 2 DTO, and let's just create this real quick. This is an exercise DTO, new exercise DTO. So I'm going to create the record here. I'm going to say exercise name and exercise type, value of exercise type. Excellent. And also I need a 2 DTO here. Cardio.get. Okay, so let's run the tests. I have one test here, I'm pretty sure anyway. But yeah, simply hits this endpoint and expects to get 2 items in the list. So let's hit that, ambient test. Should work. And it does. Excellent. Let me switch over to see if we have any questions. We don't. So I'll go back here, and now we're done with the exercise service, right? So just an endpoint that returns 2 random exercises, 1 cardio, 1 weight. And when are we going to use that? We're going to use that when someone in the wellness service orders a recipe that's, like Clement said, is not very healthy. Now, how do we get the actual recipes? Well, there's this awesome API that Clement found, which is called the Spoonacular API. And we've configured a REST client here to communicate with this REST API. I have an API key, which I don't have here, but I have in the .m file. So this should work.
Georgios, we just got a question. Can you use a record with Spanish projects? No, you can't. Well, because JPA entities are meant to be mutable, right? Yeah. So for the time being, I'm not exactly sure if this is meant to change in the future, but JPA entities don't work with records. Or if they do, you need to, it's a hack for the time being, so you should not do that. But that might change in the future, which is actually, yeah. There is actually a current discussion on some Jakarta list about records not being that cannot be beans because CDI beans need to have a no args constructor, and records come with a constructor with the properties. So there is a few things like this, and we got another question. Can you use a record with, no, that's the same question. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah, obviously, like a challenge here is to be able to use these cool new language features, but with legacy technology that's been around for, like in the case of JPA, for 15 years now. So there's a lot of work to be done to figure this stuff out. Like this stuff just doesn't just magically work. It takes a lot of effort from the maintainers of the projects to make things like this work, right? So back to the wellness service. I'm not going to create the recipe related code. I'm going to take that and just throw it in here because there's just too much opportunity to get this wrong. Also, the DTOs that are used to communicate with this API, I've also pre-populated them. They use Java records. So just to make this point clear, Jackson, which we're using here for all the JSON interaction, works perfectly with records, right? So that's why I'm using records for all the serialization and deserialization of the JSON content. But these are like too many fields here. I didn't want to write this. It wouldn't add anything to the example. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to create a client for the exercise service we created earlier. So I'm going to have an exercise, which again just has name and type. But again, this is a record, and we are going to create an interface. I'm going to say exercise client. And this exercise client, again, it's a REST client, so register REST client. Config key, I'm going to take it from here, exercise API. So I'm expecting that this API is going to run on localhost 8081. We'll start that later once we're done with this. And this will only have one method, and it returns exercise. Oops. Excuse me. And exercise, and this is a random workout. Tell J tells me I don't need that. Excellent. This is a get and path of workout random. Excellent. So this will communicate with the exercise service when we actually deploy the application to get the random workout. Now, what we need to do, though, first of all, is we need to develop the API that will be used by the front end to actually order a recipe. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say recipe resource, and we're going to say path recipe, and have the two clients. So there's the Spoonacular REST client, And there's the exercise client. And we'll create the constructor. I have to use the REST client CDI qualifier here for these two clients. And now I'm going to add two endpoints. The first endpoint will return a list of recipes based on the type of recipe that you want to order. So this is going to be a get that takes the tag. If I remember correctly, I think this was a path. Yeah, tag. If I remember correctly. So we're going to go here, tag, and we're going to invoke the client. We're going to say use that tag that the user wants, and just return like 5 random recipes. That's it. I have a test written already for this. Let's go ahead and comment out the second part of the test. So this test here is going to invoke my API, the method I just added here, the recipe method, the tag, and it's going to expect to see a certain recipe. Now, when you're developing this kind of test, obviously you don't want to hit the real API server, right? Because in this case, this API costs money. It's not free to invoke it as many times as we want. Plus, obviously, for consistency reasons, you're not going to want to hit an external service within your tests. So what do? You create a mock, right? And this is, in this case, this is where a couple of cool Java 11 features come into play, where we're starting wire mock, and we want to return a mock JSON file, right? And in this case, we're returning this huge JSON here, which I copied from the real API call. And just imagine if I were doing this in Java 11, for example, this would look plain horrible, right? If I didn't have these triple quotes, this would look abysmal. I couldn't make any changes. I couldn't do anything. Also, the other feature we're using here from, well, this all existed in Java 11, I'm pretty sure, but again, not too many people are using it yet, where you can create maps, right? So you can create a mutable map where the first, the odd parameters are the keys, and the even parameters are the values. So I'm basically setting up the REST client to invoke my mock server instead of the real API. So if we go ahead and test this here, I'll go ahead and clean first, and then I'm going to test. And let's see if this worked, if I got it right. I didn't get it right, so I must have made some kind of mistake in the resource. Let's see, what is WireMock telling me here? It's telling me that 200 instead of recipe tag chicken. I think I got this right or wrong. Okay, so just doing this, and we'll be fine. Let's see, now the test should pass. Excellent, and it does. So we created the first part of the API we're going to use. Now we're going to use, which would just return the recipes to the front end, and then the front end will select one of those recipes to actually create an order of what the user wants. So what we're going to do is create an order record where it contains the email of the orderer, of the person who ordered it, or contains the recipe, and then also contains a list of exercises that are going to be used to offset the recipe if it's not healthy. So we're going to call this offsetting workout. And now we have this order here, and let's go and try and create it. So order, and we're going to make this a post. We're going to say that the path is the ID. So basically this ID here is going to be the recipe ID. So here we're going to say long ID, and we're also going to use the email right? So this is just a demoware, right? So the email will be passed as a query param, and well, it'll have a default value of, like, let's say test quarkus.io. And what are we going to do? We are going to get the recipe. So, not going to call information, let's call this recipe. So we get the recipe by ID. Now we're going to say if the recipe is very healthy, well, let's actually move this into a method. Offsetting workout. We're going to say this is list of exercise, and let's make this easier. If it's very healthy, return an empty list. If it's not very healthy, what we're going to do is we're going to invoke the client, and we're going to get a random workout. So far, so good, hopefully. Offsetting workout. So let's see, where are we? We have the workout, we have the recipe, and now what we need to do is we need to return the order. So we have an email, we have a recipe, and we have the offsetting workout. And let's go and uncomment. Obviously, this is not like the real workflow you would use. I'm just using this simplified workflow just for the demo sec to get things done as quick as possible. Okay, so I guess order 500. Okay, so we made some kind of mistake, right? It seems that I got right. I didn't configure the client properly because I expected it to go to exercise workout random, and it went to workout random, which means that I need to add a path here, and it'll be exercise. Now I'm going to hit it, and that should work. Let's see. Yes, it worked, but there's still a failure, right? So if you remember what Clement mentioned earlier, he said that once we get the order, we're going to send it to a Kafka topic. Now, I haven't done that here yet, right? So that's what this test here was complaining about. It was saying that, you know what, I received no orders in this ordered recipes channel. So we're going to use a small reactive messaging, which I already have pre-configured here in properties. We're going to use that in order to super simply send the order we created into Kafka. So how do we do that? We just simply go private final emitter, and we're going to say it's an emitter of order emitter, add that to the constructor, and create a variable here. Order and order emitter, send order. So, and because this is reactive, but we're calling everything here in a blocking manner, I'll just wait for this to send. I'll return it, and now let's run the tests. And I think everything should pass now. Let's see, it doesn't. So what do we do wrong? Oh, right, I forgot to
add channel.
Yes, I forgot to add the channel here. So the channel is this ordered recipes part. I add that, I run it again. And I also, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I should have just ran this with continuous testing, right? This would have gone faster. That was my bad. I didn't think about that, but too late now. Next time I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, there is nothing preventing using the continuous testing with Java 17. It works flawlessly. So. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know. I haven't been sleeping much these days because, as you might remember from last time, there's a new member in the family, so we're not sleeping that much. So it just slipped my mind to use the continuous testing feature. But I promise I will next time. Okay, so now we have these two services up and running. So let's see what also we have the mail service, which I said I'm not going to develop, and in this case, it doesn't do much. It'll just it'll just print on the command line on the console what it got as an order. So let's start everything and let's actually see this in action. And also the other awesome thing about this, right, is that we're using dev services. So I'm not using a database. I'm not starting a database anywhere. I'm not starting Kafka anywhere. Everything, I'm just doing Quarkus dev on these 3 services, and everything will just work out of the box. So let's start them up, and I'll hit the UI, and everything should just work. Oh, something happened here. Legal arguments must be set. Serializer. Oh, right. I forgot to add a serializer. My bad. Okay, so let's do that now. I think I already have this somewhere here. Yes, I needed this order serializer.
Yeah, that is going to change very soon. I'm working on something that will not require it anymore.
Oh, okay, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I actually thought that was already in, and that's why I removed it. But yeah, I guess
I'm going to generate that code for you.
Excellent, excellent. The best code is the code that you don't have to write. So starting a 3rd service, everything's up and running. So in case you didn't notice, what we're doing here is we're using the same Kafka for both, right? I didn't configure it anywhere, and Quarkus automatically knows that, you know what, these 2 services want to use the same Kafka. So everything's just going to work out of the box. Now, if I hit, this is my UI, right? So this is like, come on, I said it's the Eat Tonic service. So this is our UI, keep calm and eat tonic. What do we want to eat? Oh, let's say we want to eat chicken. And we're hitting, now it hit the first API, the first recipe resource we got. So here it was chicken. It hit the downstream service for 5 chicken recipes. Let's see, Parmesan chicken nuggets sounds like something that's probably not terribly healthy.
I would have bet on the enchilada. But...
okay, enchilada. Let's go there.
Oh yeah, you can.
Let's order an enchilada. So next, I'll just say this is my email, whatever. And now I'm going to order, and I got it. And let's see what happened. The email service said that you ordered an enchilada chowder, and it's also included a complimentary workout plan because, like you said, this recipe was not terribly healthy. Obviously, like if this were a real thing, I would send a real email with Gmail or whatever. But just wanted to show you that we have a system of 3 small Quarkus microservices, all running Java 17, using Java 17 features. And I just didn't have to care at all, right? I just coded this stuff, everything Quarkus with the dev services, with Panache, with small reactive messaging, just made this super easy to develop. So I think I will go back here, and I'm going to stop the screen sharing. And let's see where we at with time. Okay, so we have a few minutes to go, right?
Yeah, so maybe to summarize, so here we have seen a couple of Java 17 features integrated inside the Quarkus applications. There is more you can do. So we have seen multi-line records, var, list of. We didn't see pattern matching, but you can see where it can be used. So you can already use that. We didn't tackle on native yet. So GraalVM came with native support for Java 17 in the 21.3 version, if I'm not mistaken. So the last one. There is a few issues with, I think, one issue around records, which is unfortunate because that's a feature that a lot of people want to use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some kind of, it breaks at build time. So, but that it sounds like something that'll be fixed.
Yeah, that will be fixed. So I run all our quick starts with Java 17 and this GraalVM with Java 17 support. We have found a few issues, but nothing impossible to fix. Most of them have been fixed. The last one is something related to AWT, which is going to be fixed in anytime soon. It was actually interesting to get that running. So yeah, it's working quite well. We need to do more testing. So 2.6 will probably not have everything supported with Java 17 in native, but 2.7 should get everything context. Well, everything should work out of the box. So that's at least what I also would like to see happen. And so that means that's great because you can already use new construct, new things, both in JVM and native mode, and then you decide where you want to go from there.
Absolutely.
So
I actually have one more thing I wanted to show, which is totally unrelated to Java 17 features. It is Java 17, but it does not have to do with features of Java 17. I just wanted to show you that I was actually very surprised by this, right? So what I have here is a Quarkus project that is, it simply has 100 JAX-RS resources and 100 CDI beans, right? That's all it is. It doesn't do anything. There is no logic here. It's just like a fairly sort of large, let's say, project. Right. I wanted to show. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and we use such kind of techniques to verify that our build time and everything we do at build time scales correctly. So that's why actually 100 is not the biggest we did. I think I run it with 1,000 every time, but it's already good with it.
Well, let's try like 500. Okay, I'll try 500, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm building the project with Java 11, right? So compiled with Java 11. Now I'm going to start it with Java 11, target Quarkus app, Quarkus run jar. And sorry, I need to take down the other examples first and run this again. Okay, so this started in 972 milliseconds, so about a second for 500 JAX-RS resources and 500 CDI beans injected into those resources. Now, check this out.
And remember, Quarkus does nothing lazily, so everything has been configured correctly. It's really ready to serve.
Absolutely. So yeah, 500, which is not a small number, in less than a second, ready to serve, as Clement mentioned. But if I use Java 17, let's see what I get. I get 775, right? So that is almost 200 milliseconds faster just by switching from Java 11 to Java 17. And this is just one metric of runtime performance that has improved significantly with Java 17. Other and more important factors like the GCs have been improved a lot. Memory management has been improved a lot. So also in terms of like, besides the language features, the platform itself has significantly improved over the versions, which can translate to what, as Clement can very easily attest to, it translates into money that you save on your cloud bill.
Yeah, because it's always hard to say it's faster, because faster is you need to be you need to do proper metrics. But yeah, there's a feeling all the numbers we are seeing, even without any scientific method put in place yet, I found that it's make a difference by just switching to this new version. And yeah, this difference at the end, it's directly money. It's faster, more concurrent, and things like that. So it's pretty good. And yeah, if you have the choice, I know it's not given, but if you have the choice, yeah, bet on the future and use Java 17. If your project is still using Java 1.1,
you're probably out of luck, but in a lot of ways, not just this way.
Jean-Francois is asking a great question. Is this game specific to Quarkus? No, it's really a game from the JVM. So it's everybody or every Java program will benefit from that performance boost. There is a few things that make the reactive engine of Quarkus a little bit faster, but yeah. But nothing very significant for the human eye. Also, but yeah, profiler may see a bit of difference. So yeah, it's actually a great release, and
Absolutely.
a lot of work has been done inside this release. And yes, that's really amazing. And yeah, so Georgios, what's your favorite feature
My favorite feature of Java
from Java
17?
17?
I would probably say records. I'll
Ah,
have to vote records. How about you?
well, multi-lines. I said it's just, for me, it's just a game changer. Like, oh yeah, records are nice, but multi-lines just for the type of code I'm writing, it's just that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are at the top of the hour.
Yes.
We spent a nice. See, people agree with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people agree with
Smile.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's been a great hour. We have seen lots of features. Well, if you have any question, any follow-up, if you want to try Quarkus with Java 17, just do it. One last thing we forgot to mention in the news is that now you can reach us on Zilip, but you can also go on GitHub discussions.
Right.
And so it's another place where you can interact with the rest of the community and obviously the core team of Quarkus, where we are going to discuss, answer questions and things like that. The difference with Zilip is that Zilip is like ephemeral memory. After 99 messages, everything is lost, so nobody is reading anything. While discussions are indexed by Google, searchable, and things like that. So it's if you want your question and responses to be visible by the rest of the community, discussions are a better place. But Zilip is still in use, and no worries. We will not. Yeah, it's a great thing to do, to have live interaction, but sometimes we want to have things more searchable.
Totally, yeah. Cool. So thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for sticking around. And I'm not sure if we have a show next week, but we'll keep you posted soon on that. If it's not next week, it'll probably be next year.
Yeah. So yeah, we are. Well, it's going to be Christmas period, and things are going to slow down, and engineers are going to take some PTOs and time with their family. So that's why. And next year will be a pretty big one.
Oh,
I don't want to say anything, but yeah.
It will. No question about that.
All right, anyone. Have a great days, a great one, and see you next time.
Great day. Thanks. Bye, everybody.